Hello and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we're giving analysis and introduction to the Brothers Karamazov, one of Dostoevsky's key works, alongside, of course, The Idiot, Demons, and other books which we have reviewed in the past on this channel. Today we're going to be covering the background of this book, some of the characters in this book, and also the themes. Of course, if you want me to elaborate on any of these concepts, then feel free to let me know in the comments and I'll happily do that in next videos. However, today we're just going to give you a broad introduction in why you might want to pick this up and might read it, and also why this book will be helpful to read if you're interested in Dostoevsky. So without further ado, let's get started and talk about the background of this book. Well, the background of Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov is quite a sad one, and it is ultimately due to the death of his son Alyosha, who then prompts Dostoevsky to go into a period of reflection and then to come up with this work. This is ultimately a discussion about his key topics throughout his life, from religion to politics to sociology to psychology. All of his major themes, to lesser or greater extent, are brought up in this book. In the past, with Demons, it's mainly his discussion about politics and also faith, of course, faith to a bit of a lesser extent. The Idiot is mainly a discussion about faith and psychology, and of course other books of his touch upon different schemes. But this book is a very, very fitting end to the career of one of the greatest writers of all time, where he truly brings them all together to discuss all of these contents, to give an analysis of the church, theology, his belief about the Catholic Church, about orthodoxy, about faith in God, about faith in man, the role of man in relationship to God, problem of evil, psychology. All these crazy themes are found in it. We'll be developing those themes in a bit. However, let's carry on with the background, just because I think the background is a very, very important part of understanding the Brothers Karamazov. Another thing that you need to learn about the background is ultimately the idea that Dostoevsky did indeed intend to write another book. This book was meant to be a first of a multi-part series about the life of Alyosha. There exist notes where he wants to talk about how Alyosha grows up in the world, about him going into the world, and as a result we should view this as his picture of, well, kind of almost how he wanted his son to grow up, or how he was imagining his son to grow up in the world in which he was situated in. So as a result, you want to kind of bear that in mind as you're looking and as you're reading through the Brothers Karamazov. This is his almost discussion, or his deepest thoughts about how he's interacting with the son that died recently, and also kind of wrestling with the faith that existed, because before he died, he kind of, or at least before his son died, he was wrestling with his problem called epilepsy. So he was struggling a lot in a physiological state, and as a result, when his son dies from epilepsy, he also had that great self-guilt. He had this guilt where he was blaming himself for the problem, and as a result, when he goes to the monastery to meet the fathers there in the Russian Orthodox Church, he's learning and he's trying to really interact with these key issues, and ultimately what he gets out of that is a faith which is renewed and a faith which is strengthened. And perhaps one of the things you can think about is one of his letters he wrote. But I think it really summarizes his thoughts about the beauty, the strength of Christ, and something which is refreshed. His infantile state of faith has been refreshed into a more mature one, but one which is nevertheless so innocent and so beautiful, which is something that is kind of picked up in the Brothers Karamazov. It's kind of this like gateway in between The Idiot, which talks about the ideals, and also Demons, which is kind of the depth of human depravity. Of course, human depravity is touched upon by Rogozhin in The Idiot. However, of course, it is taken to a next level in Demons, and it's just kind of one of those intermediate works. Of course, it's written at the end. However, it's kind of a way to kind of balance both of his thoughts together, all of his thoughts brought into one. So that's kind of the background that you want to learn from the Brothers Karamazov. Of course, there's way more stuff you can talk about or learn, and those things you can read up as well if you're interested. However, let's turn to the characters. The characters kind of follow three brothers, a father, and also kind of servant boy. The main characters are ultimately, it's a relationship of children with their father, of Fyodor Karamazov, and then there is, of course, Ivan, there is then Mitya or Dmitry, and then there also is Alyosha, Alexei, and then it's a relationship of those three brothers. They all represent different ideals, different arguments. Ivan is the one who's representing full logic of the arguments, the ratiocination of the world. Oh, can you build that crystal palace based on reason and logic alone? Is that a possible way to go down? Is that a possible way to develop yourself? Is that the right mode of being, to purely stay yourself within the bounds of reason alone, of empiricism? Is that something which you want to pursue? That is the question being presented by Ivan, and of course Problem of Evil is developed by Ivan as well. And then of course there's the opposite side of pure hedonism, of enjoying of one's life, their animalistic pleasures of Dmitry. Of course there are other motifs to Dmitry which are very, very profound. His relationship to God, his salvation in some sense, is something which is very, very beautiful, something which is really, really crazy. The love for Grushenka, similar with the father, that contrast with the father, that struggle, is something which is very, very beautiful. And also, of course, the role of Alyosha. It's kind of Dostoevsky's own questioning, perhaps, of, well, where exactly should we lie? You're coming from a background of religion, you're coming from the monastery into the world. Well, how exactly are you meant to balance the world of religion, the world of faith, and the world we see around us? How do you balance and merge those two worlds together? And that's a question which is risen by Alyosha. Of course, there's other questions, but I think that those are the key kind of character analysis, or the kind of the thoughts you can have in the back of your mind when you're reading this book, when you're reading about who is Dmitry, who is Alyosha, who is Ivan. Those are things that you can keep in the back of your mind. And of course, there are a lot of side characters, but if I went through all of them, that would go on forever. If you're interested in more side character analysis, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll happily make an analysis about those individual characters for you as well. Now, finally, the themes of this book are ultimately faith, politics, religion, and psychology. There's a lot of different things going on, the problem of evil as well, and this is really the cornerstone of his thought and ideas. Ultimately, if you're reading this, you have to view it from the perspective of the idiot, the perspective of demons, the perspective of crime and punishment. All of these are kind of coming together. There's a great crime at the heart of the story found in the patricide, and there's also other crimes as well, in the sense of crimes against humanity, well, or crimes against the individual, in multiple levels, not only in a physical level where you can, in the level of the law, it's also a crime at the level of the spirit, the crime at the level of the divine. What can you learn from that? How can you wrestle from that? And how can you overcome that? That's something which is really, really important. Of course, Dostoevsky is coming from a Christian landscape, but that doesn't mean his criticism of Christianity, of the Catholic Church, is any less strong. His discussion in the Grand Inquisitor, his criticism of the Catholic Church, his discussion about the problem of evil, how evil is so great at sometimes where you cannot even see the divine anymore. These are all great, strong arguments for atheism, which not necessarily says atheism is the strongest argument, but more likely says that atheism is something which is oftentimes brought from theism. It comes from theism and almost a pity and a love for your fellow man, the evil in this world, which leads people to become atheists in the case of Ivan Karamazov. So that's something you want to think about. Those are the key themes. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. It really helps this channel grow. Like always, stay safe, my friends. See you soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. If you have any more ideas of videos that you want me to do, then let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to make those videos for you. Stay safe. See you soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. I'll see you next one.